Welcome to the Primetime Newscast. We are live from Cameroon's economic capital city. You are watching Equinoxe Television. Thanks for joining us 2 weeks into the 2020-2021 academic year across the Republic of Cameroon. Teaching and learning is still to be effective in most parts of the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon hit by an armed conflict in the Ngoketunja division of the northwest region of Cameroon. Our correspondent in Bamenda observed the situation and says it is devastating and of course shocking that most school buildings are still buried in bushes and most of the kids are yet to be convinced that they will be safe as they are present in schools. Meantime, the lifeless body of a man discovered in Bonaberi in the Douala-Fo subdivision has been taken away. The man in his 40s had no identification documents on him. A tense atmosphere still in Douala at the Upwe market as traders are to elect the president of the market. Those are the top stories. Stay with us. I am Fomi Shosanda in Cameroon's economic capital city, Douala. Thanks for joining Equinoxe Television on the Primetime Newscast. We begin on human interest page to say that agents of the Douala-Fo Council have finally collected the lifeless body of a man in his early 40s. The man was found dead in Ndobo, a locality in Bonaberi in the Douala-Fo subdivision late Thursday. The man was found with no identification documents on him. Council agents were forced to bury his lifeless body at the cemetery in Bonaberi, as innocent as it tells us in the following report.
Lifeless body of a craftsman discovered at this spot in Dobo, Bonaberi, Douala-Fo subdivision Thursday afternoon.
Power we like to meet up all time because Mr. Say I be dreaming for. So we like to meet up ourselves for house with the dream for and I'm now begin to make a cane chair, cane table, other thing.
This what he's doing, like a work, handwork. So we didn't know the kind of person he is.
It was only collected by sanitation agents of the Douala-Fo Council early Friday after learning of it from Equinoxe Television.
Now this morning, where Equinoxe is saying news, say some man the way he don't die for back Petrolex.
Residents say the man who had no identification document on him had been sick for over a week and helpless.
We will not say the sick very well as squatter. How we recognize how we is at least a technician. So don't try for back him show with family them.
He refused cooperating with the locals to locate his relatives.
The family. We ask even phone number. Say me go show phone number. Me show phone number. Me call family. Even phone number, I know.
Give us numbers, nothing. Give us numbers to call any of your friends, nothing. We say you should contribute to give you money or put you inside the car and let you go to the village to no compromise.
Another resident says the only thing found on him while he was sick was another person's ID card.
On lui a demandé qu'est-ce qu'il souffre. Il dit que ça va aller.
It should be noted the discovery was made by some boys who were playing football.
Le ballon est tombé vers là où son corps était.
Their ball fell where the corpse was.
Quelqu'un qui est couché.
It was at this juncture that they saw the lifeless body covered with this nylon paper.
Réellement, il est mort. La première des choses, moi en tant que responsable du bloc, j'ai appelé mon chef de quartier.
The corpse of the man in his 40s was wrapped and conveyed in this taxi to the Bonaberi cemetery for burial.
Bonaberi Douala has been at the center of security concerns recently across the economic capital city, Douala. It should be recalled that less than 2 days ago, there was a huge deployment of security officials in one part of Bonaberi, precisely at Mabanda, another neighborhood of Bonaberi. It remains uncertain the heavy deployment of elements of the National Gendarmerie, some of the army and police officials. But information we gathered from Ndobo in Bonaberi, rather Mabanda in Bonaberi, had it that some persons were arrested and of course taken in huge numbers to an unknown destination. We are closely following up that and we'll be coming back to it on subsequent editions of News on Equinoxe Television. And now we talk back to school in the conflict-hit northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon. In Limbe, in the Fako division, some parents are still not convinced that their kids should go to school this time, even with the Anglophone crisis unsolved, as the Anglophone crisis remains a major concern. These parents were those at which the divisional officer for Limbe 3, Madame Iwane Veclin, frowned at, speaking on a sensitization mission to parts of Limbe 3 subdivision. She was angry that some parents are still not ready to send their kids to school. She also challenged them to consider the necessity to get their kids educated by sending them to school. Details with Simat Njikangibre.
The divisional officer of Limbe 3 subdivision shocked after meeting just a few number of students in a class at a college in Mabeta. The divisional officer who arrived in Mabeta after getting rumors that schools haven't effectively taken off 3 weeks into the new school year immediately summoned the inhabitants to know the reasons why they have refused to send their kids to school after authorities had provided almost everything they wanted. You asked for teachers. They were sent. You talked about insecurity and security forces were provided. What do you need before you go to school? You complained about the distance of the school and the mayor decided to build a school closer to the village. In an effort to encourage the parents, the divisional officer said the kids can go to school while the parents fight to pay their school fees.
Some parents don't go with one book and one pen. We know where you don't go to principal.
Has anyone gone to school with a pen and a book and haven't been allowed to go to school? Have you been sent away for school fees? If you don't have your registration money or school fees, start schooling first. It's not going to be free, but the parents should start to look for means to pay the school fees by the end of the term.
Tell me why and you don't get a uniform and you don't pay that school fees.
On the spot, the divisional officer promised that security will be placed to hold any kid caught not going to school.
Go down for beach for day. I'll tell them you should have the men start for this. Any picking with less than 15 years, when you scared to go water, you must send them back. They carry you go for option, you go daily before they move in.
A parent complimenting the divisional officer's message has promised to pay the school fees of 10 kids.
This year, I want to pay 10 picking here.
While another say she will seize the properties of any child found passing in front of her door. Mabeta, should be recalled, is the zone where the highest amount of crayfish is being produced, and the inhabitants here have as main activity fishing.
An unknown factor causing parents in most parts of the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon hit by the armed conflict to keep their kids at home, even or more than 2 weeks into the 2020-2021 academic year across the Republic of Cameroon. It is not in Limbe, it is the same situation in the Ngokitunja Divisional Chieftain Ndob. Mbustela, our correspondent in the northwest region of Cameroon, traveled from the Mezam Division to the Ngokitunja, and in Ndob, she observed that most school buildings are still in bushes and most kids are yet to answer present in school. Her report.
Everybody. Classes 4, 5 and 6 combined in this classroom at the government practicing school Bamuka. This is school resumption at this campus. Elsewhere in the subdivision, this pupil trespasses through a deserted campus of the government practicing school Tenko, returning from the farm during school hours. On this street in Dop, these ones are waiting to move out of town. They are being chased away by persistent violence. The Government Technical High School Dop is the biggest and most equipped technical college in the division. This is how the campus looks like 3 weeks into the 2020-2021 academic year. For the last 4 years, we are told no academic activity has been carried out on the campus. Rather, school property had been looted by armed and masked individuals.
Since we are coming and here today, I don't be fair, because this creature can't enter. They come home for some day for you and knock me fine. They will tie their head. I know they mark my head first. But they will tip something. They will tip do some door there for you. So I check how we did first time. I'm sorry plenty for the school. They're sorry plenty for the school because town picking the day school will be so.
Despite the clearing of some campuses and sensitization campaign carried out by administrative authorities of Ngokitunja before October 5th, most campuses have remained deserted.
When they leave them, what's the problem? When they go to school?
I'm crying to everybody, where every party that hosts any primary school, that they should come out and clear their schools and let their teachers and the headmasters continue the way some of the schools have already started in the center.
Kwetong Henderson, a former pupil of the government practicing school Bamuka, now senior divisional officer for the division, alongside Honorable Jingo Musa, the mayor, Dr. To Daniel, are on the field, encouraging children to go back to school.
If any problem has to be solved, it is not these children who come and solve it for them. They should allow these children to have their education, because education is fundamental as far as civilization is concerned, as far as development is concerned, and as far as the personal survival of these children are concerned.
In Ngokitunja Division, school resumption has been timid. Most parents prefer sending their children out of the division. Administrative authorities say calm is returning and are beckoning parents to send their children to schools in the division.
Mbustela in the northwest region of Cameroon, and now we come back to the economic capital city, Douala, to say that 170 are the total number of traders of the Upwe market who've officially registered to vote for the president of the market. In most of these traders of the fish sector of the market say the market master and his collaborators are unfortunately imposing a candidate on them. Equinoxe.
October 22nd, day for the thousands of traders of the Upwe market to vote for their president. Instead, the polling station is deserted and only 170 voters, as we were told by election officials, registered to cast their ballots. Equinoxe Television went finding out why thousands of traders were not interested, notably those of this smoked fish sector.
The market outside and inside are two different persons. Yeah, it be well organized. It's an association, registered, legalized. We have a bureau. When there were supposed to be election, we have to be informed, so that if we have an objection or a candidate to be presented for the market in general, because we make one sector of the market, we are not the only market, we make a sector of the market. And for an election that we have observed today, as yesterday, just few hours old, that we got the information there will be election, they said there's only one candidate. They will then begin to pose question. Must there be election for one candidate? Tell you want to make a nomination for somebody for your interest. If in the interest of the market, we are not concerned.
They claim even the unorganized sectors were unaware.
Even though we are common now, for that block female will not be organized. We ask, all two or three people, they will tell us say they don't know, say vote day for you pay. Now something where they don't pass for back, they don't sabi.
Reason for very low participation.
They take with photocopy, but we don't know say now vote way they want go take with card make up.
The market master Prizo, refusing to speak on camera, refuted this, saying this minority and troublesome sector was informed and demanded to file list of their representatives.
The list, let them be the persons to say that list was handed to who and how was the list ended. We are nothing or little or nothing as the election has might be passed well, never passed well. We are not part and parcel of that election.
That if the normal election criteria were respected, they wouldn't have been agitating.
And you see any riot here is not by intentional. It's because we are left out. There's somebody, we don't have somebody represented people and even what is going on. The criteria will not follow. That's the main reason why. They have some some few ones that have electoral voting cards.
Now where with the year say, now only one man, therefore there are no campaign. Commerçants they don't know who then vote.
She says at first, 2 candidates were presented to the people.
They work sector by sector, they make campaign.
They go round campaigning and presenting their plan of action.
And he says they give you plan d'action.
Unfortunately, these procedures were not respected by the new market master and his collaborators.
You know what show himself for no place. You know what come for here say, I want to be candidate.
But Victor, according to sources, is the unique and imposed candidates on them and fraudulently making him candidates against the will of the people will only worsen matters.
The president to the people is for the people. But if we are not with the people, with the person, how can we work? They are making a lot of disorder and there will be riots. And there will be every time problems because there is no confidence in whatever thing they are saying.
According to the market master Prizo, other sectors are okay with the election, except this one. But the question hanging on many leaves is how in the other sectors, having thousands of people, only 170 have been registered to vote for a single candidate.
Southwest musical artists say the time is now for an Anglophone to head the musical corporation in Cameroon. They were speaking recently in a gathering while endorsing one of them for the position of board chair of the musical corporation in Cameroon. Davidson Memo tells us more from Limbe.
The Cameroon musical art industry, which used to pride itself among the top in Africa, in the early 80s is now a shadow of itself, as backstabbing, corruption and witch hunting has engulfed the entire system. The corporation for decades has suffered numerous setbacks, misunderstanding between artists leading to mismanagement of authors' rights dues as some of the negative vices that has characterized the Musical Arts Corporation all this while. At one point in time, 2 separate bodies to manage the affairs of artists existed.
We have been entangled. I don't know by who. Cameroonian artists should stand as one man to conquer the cankerworm of corruption in our system.
Since the existence of the Cameroon Musical Arts Corporation, an artist from the Anglophone extraction has never been given the opportunity to man the office of a board chair.
Since, call it, in the 80s. Till date, they are the people who have been running this corporation.
It is in this regard that Southwest artists, after consultation with their brothers and sisters from the Northwest region, with support from some Francophone artists, have all rallied behind Jojo Mosinja for the position of board chair ahead of the upcoming elective General Assembly of the corporation.
That Mr. Jojo Mosinja was unanimously selected to represent the Anglophone musicians for the post of board chair of Sonacam.
Find in him a very big quality that can take us in a higher level in our musical career and in the music industry.
Jojo Mosinja promised to bring positive changes if elected as the board chair.
Make sure wherever artist money is, I hunt it and bring it to the house so that artists should enjoy, first of all, their author's rights.
The artists from the Southwest region, through their leaders, says it is time for the Francophone artists to trust the Anglophones and give them a chance to lead the corporation.
We remain in the Southwest region of Cameroon, where the president of the Southwest Chiefs Conference has reassured students of the University of Buea of the support of the custodians of the tradition of the people of the Southwest region of Cameroon. The president, Chief Mafani Nji Martins, was speaking during a press conference in Buea. We had an extract of him selected by Derek Jato in Buea.
Our children of the University of Buea, is because of you. That's why we are here. And we are saying that what happened, that your crops were damaged, we want to say that you people should bear with the authorities that be. They are going to take all the necessary actions and measures. And those of you who were doing your research, we are appealing, we are just from the university, we are appealing to your instructors, your professors, that they should reconsider the damages, because of the damages that were done.
Coming up is Talking Point, still for us. On Talking Points today, we take you into the inside of the saga, that is the land saga between the University of Buea and the Bulu village within a Buea subdivision of the Faku in the Southwest region of Cameroon. We shall be understanding the legal rights each of the parties have got over the disputed piece of land. We are honored to receive a legal mind, barrister Ikume Ngondi, who is the lawyer for the University of Buea. Yeah. Barrister, it's a pleasure having you with us.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me here.
It wasn't easy traveling.
Yeah, I'm glad it just barely made it through the Douala traffic, but
yeah, traffic in the economic capital city. Douala.
Yes, yes.
Is that, you see that as a big problem? Is that normal with the traffic congestion in an economic capital city?
It is. Well, I don't know. We get so used to bad things that they become normal. But the roads that are in Douala today are the same roads I knew as a child in the 60s. No new real roads have been constructed, but the traffic has increased at least 20 times bigger than what it used to be back in the 60s. This is a result of total lack of planning in our urban spaces.
Yes, and the population
has grown.
The population has grown.
That's right.
And the roads are still the same.
Still the same. Number of cars have increased. The roads are still the same. Not only just the same, they're worse than they used to be. You should see number of potholes on the roads there. Yeah.
Barrister, you met for us when we had some reports, even just before Talking Point. What caught your attention in the report so far that you followed in the news?
Yeah, I barely caught the issue about security and return to school. Yeah. This is something that I think the authorities need to be more honest about. You know, when the big officials, the SDOs and governors and ministers go out, they go out fully protected with armored cars and soldiers. But they leave these kids to go out to school with no protection. And they complain that they're not going to school. The same level of insecurity that prompted or prompts these authorities to go out with soldiers and armored vehicles is the same that these children have to face to go to school, and teachers. I think we should be more honest about how we deal with this issue of security. On one hand, we say everything is okay, but on the other hand, we see everybody going out with big armored cars, and we expect these kids, these unprotected children, to swallow that and just assume that everything is okay. We know everything is not okay.
And so when some of them go to the field, like we've had the case of the duo for Limbe 3, she went to a locality in Limbe 3, Mabeta.
Yeah.
She was actually very angry with parents.
For what?
Why are you guys not sending your kids to school? Why are you guys not sending? The school is there, the teachers are there.
Did the GO tell you how the road is to go to Mabeta? I know that road. It's impossible. I was talking with the mayor of Limbe 3 a few days ago. He goes to Bimbia, where his office is, on motorbikes. So what vehicle did the DO use, a helicopter or a four-wheel drive car to get there? How many of those children have the facilities of four-wheel vehicles and to go to those places? No, that road is almost impassable. So choose children expected to walk how many kilometers to school in the face of this insecurity that they have to deal with? I think her anger should be directed to the right quarters.
Yes.
They need to have better roads in that place. They need to establish better security for those children and to encourage to give more confidence in the parents to know that when they send their kids out to school, the kids will be protected.
Yes, because it's a similar issue in the northwest region of Cameroon. We got another report from Ndop in the northwest region where administrative officials were actually still angry that parents are not sending kids to school. Most still are observed in Ndop that schools are practically empty.
But this is total hypocrisy. These same officials who pretend to be angry, when they go out with armored vehicles, with many soldiers and policemen armed to their teeth to protect them. What makes them think that their own protection, their own lives are more valuable than the lives of all those innocent children? I think we should stop this hypocrisy. It's about time. We cannot pretend that everything is okay in the northwest and southwest region. There's still a lot of insecurity, and we know that. So whom are they trying to fool?
A challenge. We remember we got the report from Buea that was just yesterday, the night breaking yesterday, where we had some gunshots reported at the level of Muya, a locality that's a neighborhood in Buea. But we'll move straight into the inside of the land issue with the University of Buea and Bulu village. Yes. Barrister, why is the University of Buea encroaching into the Bulu village land?
Well, I think whoever informed you that the university was encroaching into Bulu village misinformed you.
It's a statement of the president of the Bulu village council.
Well, let me first of all...
That's an interview you did with the Post newspaper. I'm using his words.
Right. I will tell you this. For anybody who knows the history of how CDC came about in this country and how native lands of the Bakri people were occupied, you'll know that before the Germans came to these places, most of our ancestors did not live by the mountain. We lived on the plains, Mondoni Plains, Tico Plains, Limbia Plains, Victoria Plains, and so on. The Germans pushed our people up to the inhabitable areas of the mountain which had no water and things, and took all our good arable land to make their plantations. So actually, as we talk today, there are very few people who can actually identify where they came from within FACO because of the dispersion that was caused by the Germans. Now let's wind up faster and go back to 1947 when the CDC was created. Where you have the area occupied by the university today was a huge banana plantation within what you call the Moliko Banana Estate. I have the lease to that estate. It was a Moliko Banana Estate. The Bulu village, yes, existed, but that estate was occupied by CDC. It's a leasehold, a 60-year-old leasehold which has been extended, in quotes, to 99 years by the government. That's another issue.
But were they Bulu village, did they have houses there before they came to the CDC?
No, I am a member of that community. I own property in Bulu. There are 3 houses in fact 4, but 3 of them are occupied. Okay, there are 3 houses. They are not up to 10 inhabitants in Bulu village. They are not up to 10 inhabitants. Now, we know that they had been given a grant before. They sold all of that land to strangers. Now, if they really need that land, why would they sell the land to strangers? Why? Now, even the ones that the land they're talking about now, occupied by the university, the people who claim to be Bulu villagers are not really Bulu villagers. Okay. In that group of people you saw there, probably just that chairman is a Bulu villager. There's another fellow there who is from Kope Maninguba, I think he's a lawyer. He claims he's a Bulu notable. He is not. We know that. You see, the people behind this are the administrators. Okay. And some corrupt chiefs, I say some, I use my words carefully, and some very corrupt business people who want to grab that land for its strategic position to create mini cities for students.
But one of the officials or one of the persons protesting, he presented himself as the lawyer of the Bulu village. He said the University of Buea, the university had not got a land title over the disputed piece of land, 70 hectares or so.
I do not like to criticize my own colleagues. Yeah. It's my younger colleague, but that's the same fellow who was beaten at the Supreme Court. He was at the Supreme Court with me, and we won the case. He knows very well that the Supreme Court ruled on 2nd of September that that land belongs to the University of Buea, and that the land title that was issued to, in quotes, the Bulu village, which land was promptly sold to 2 or 3 other people in quick succession and under the control of non-Bulu people, it's not university land. It's not a Bulu land. He knows that. So for him to come out to public and say what you're just telling me he's saying, he said, is very disingenuous, and in fact it's dishonest. And it's a sad commentary from a colleague of mine that he will, in public, try to disavow the judgment of the highest court of this country. I think he should really think twice about the statements he makes in public.
Barrister, if all this has been happening, why did we then have the court in Buea, the administrative court in Buea, or at the level of the High Court in the Southwest region,
yes,
ruling in favor of this particular group of people?
Well, you see, again, that's another sad commentary I'll have to make. The same facts and law that were presented at that court, in the Southwest Administrative Court,
yes,
are the same facts and law I presented at the Supreme Court. But unfortunately, in spite of the finding of fact by that court, that land certificate that was given to the Bulu village was in fact within University of Buea land, and that the land certificate that was issued in 2014 could not override the land certificate that was given to the University of Buea in 2005. The law prohibits that. You cannot give 2 land certificates to 2 people over the same property. You cannot do that. Simple common sense will tell you that. The only condition under which 2 people can own the same property is when they are joint owners. But this is not the case. Bulu village and the University of Buea are not joint owners of that property.
That doesn't mean that those who did the ruling were not informed enough of...
They were properly informed. I do not know what happened, but it is regrettable that the Southwest Administrative Court made such an unreasoned judgment. But the Supreme Court of Cameroon happily saw the rightness of our arguments in law, because that court is a court of law, and overturned and quashed that judgment, and gave the judgment in favor of the University of Buea. Unfortunately, that is the highest court in the country. Nobody can appeal that judgment. Even the president of our country cannot overrule that judgment.
The judgment of the Supreme Court?
Of the Supreme Court. It's final.
But Barrister, just before the judgment of the Supreme Court, now we had, I got this same man, I want to use his words,
yes,
because they are not here to defend themselves. I'm talking about the man who presented himself as the chairman of the Bulu Village Council.
Yes, yes.
He said the Minister of State Property and Land in Cameroon actually ordered on September the 1st,
yes,
that 70 hectares or so be given to the university,
again,
to the village.
Again, sadly, the Minister of State Property, Surveyors and Land Tenure, was either totally misdirected or he misdirected himself in issuing such a letter. You see, in 2016-17, when I wrote to the minister a pre-litigation complaint, giving him 3 months to resolve this problem, he did not respond. Or it was a lady at that time, a woman. She did not respond. The moment they lost that opportunity to solve the problem within the 3-month period, the whole problem left the hands of the administration and was transferred to the courts. We had 60 days within which to file a substantive suit in the administrative court in Paco, which we did. And of course, as you rightly said, the court gave judgment in favor of the Bulu village, which we found was wrong. That is why I appealed the matter. University of Buea supported me in my proposition that we should appeal the case, and we appealed. And of course, we saw the results. The lower court was found to be wrong in law, and they found that University of Buea had the right over that land. So anybody who tries to argue against that issue is totally misdirected. The minister, for example, lost his opportunity to solve the problem administratively. Anything he did after the matter went to court is totally irrelevant. And now to have issued that letter of 1st September, just 1 day before the final judgment of the court, tells you one thing, that the judgment of the court totally supersedes any administrative statement the minister made.
The judgment of the court came a day after the decision of the minister?
Yes.
All right.
And that was not a decision, it was an ordinary letter. It was not even a ministerial order. And even if it was a ministerial order, it totally doesn't have any weight, because he had no more jurisdiction over that dispute. He had lost that jurisdiction when he refused or did not address the problem when we sent him the pre-litigation letter in 2017.
All right, but you're citing a lot of legal backings there. So
yes,
what are you telling Cameroonians that are the legal claims of the University of Buea over this portion? Or what gives this land legally, undisputably,
the highest court of this country, the highest court of this country has ruled that that land belongs to the University of Buea. Anybody who tries to go against that ruling or the judgment of the highest court of the country will be seen as trying to sabotage the institutions of this country. There are 3 independent institutions in this country: the administration, that's the executive, the legislation, and the judiciary. And they are independent. These courts ruled against a state institution, the Ministry of State Property. They did it knowing that they were on the right. So there's nobody in this country who can override that judgment. Nobody. So if anybody goes out in public and tries to tell you that, oh, well, you see, we still have some interest in that place, they'll be lying to you. So I should tell people out there, if you try to pay money to anybody who claims to be selling you University of Buea property, you'll be losing your money. In fact, you'll be buying a court case because you can never have access to that land. On top of that, sir, it's important that people should know that the population of FACO, and in fact the population of Southwest region, you just heard the president of the FACO Chiefs Conference, are totally alerted to the gravity of the situation.
Yes, I was actually coming to that because at the start you talked about the fact that this is not really Bulu villagers. They are being pushed by some people, corrupt administrators,
we know that,
as selfish elite and some business persons.
Yes, we can see the fingerprints of the administrators of FACO and the Southwest region in this thing. If you look at the letter of the minister of September 1st, what did he say? He says that upon the recommendations of who? The senior divisional officer of FACO. That was the person recommending to the minister to give that land to so-called Bulu villagers.
And not even elites, not even traditional.
No. Now, let me ask you, where does the senior divisional officer get land to give the university? Is it his property? If he wants to give the land to the Bulu people, let him take them and give them land in his village. I'm sure he has a lot of land in his village. But we know very well, and it's no longer a secret, that these administrators are behind all of this crookedness and these things that are happening with lands in FACO.
But Brother, we've had some of the most authoritative voices within the region and the FACO division. Why not Buea subdivision speaking in favor of the University of Buea?
Absolutely, they have the right to do that.
I've had that of the Senator Mbela Mukichas. Yes. We've had that one time
Professor
VC of the university.
Very welcome voices.
Welcome voices.
Very welcome voices.
And now, when talking to me, you said actually in Bulu village there are not up to 10 houses. Are these voices not just coming because Bulu village is a weaker party?
No. Let me tell you something. One of the arguments that these Bulu villagers raised on the side, not in court, was that they were not compensated for the land that was taken. But I must make a clear distinction here. The land that was appropriated for University of Buea was land that was effectively occupied by the Cameroon Development Corporation. Of course, that is FACO land, as you know. That is Bakre land. It's not just Bulu land, it's Bakre land. So if anybody should be compensated for that property, it should be the Cameroon Development Corporation, which in turn is a lessee, is leasing land from the Bakre people, who are the owners of the land. So the Bulu people cannot say that the land was taken from them. No. All of the land that is occupied by CDC is Bakre land. All of this land. The government of this country is only a guardian of this property. Article 1(2) of the 1974 law on land in Cameroon is very clear. The state shall be the guardian of all state and national lands, not the owner. There's a distinction between guardianship and ownership. Guardianship imposes fiduciary duties on the person who has been given, in this case the state, to look after the property. And this state, the government, has a responsibility to make sure that this land that is guarding for the Bakre people, occupied by CDC, now given to the University of Buea, is managed for the best interest of the citizens, not only of FACO, but of the country. The University of Buea is a national treasure. It's not just Bakre property, it's a national treasure. Students from all over this country attend that university. That university is the second largest institution after CDC in FACO division. Now, how can a handful of people posing fakely to be talking on behalf of Bulu people say they're fighting to get that land for Bulu? Of course not. I will tell you, that land where you saw the bulldozers destroying has already been sold to non-Bulu people. It's not in the hands of Bulu people.
But this problem probably did not start today, because
it did not start today.
As a student in the University of Buea, I think I lived somewhere in Dungo, actually,
crossing
across this portion. My
vice
chancellor then had a big placard indicating that no trespassing, University of Buea land.
That's right.
Were they afraid? Why writing that? The land is yours.
You see, this is the problem. If you look at this issue, it is being engineered from behind by our administrators, who give a false hope to these people that they can do anything against the law and will be protected. But I'm sorry, the law will not protect people who violate the law. No, the administrators will not protect them either. We have a case of Botaland Village, where the chief also illegally sold Botaland Village community land. He is in court. He's in court. In fact, he was given 5 years imprisonment 2 months ago on issues related to transactions over that land. So let people know this very well, and if you're not informed about this, know that that land, which is occupied and titled by the University of Boya, doesn't belong to Bulu Village community. But if Bulu Village community thinks that they need to be compensated for land which they believe belong to them, there's another legal procedure to pursue that. In fact, I'll be happy to be their lawyer in that case, but not on this one.
Thanks very much, Barrister Mbela Martin Ngongi.
Yeah, Bella Ikomi Ngongi.
Yes. Bella Ikomi,
Ikomi.
Ngongi.
Yes, that's right. Thank you.
Lawyer for the University of Boya. It was an interesting chat with you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Just nice being here.
Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you very much for your kind attention. Stay with Equinoxe Television.